Namibia, a country that inspires yearning. Spectacular landscapes and a variety of wildlife that takes your breath away. And all of it can be explored in a very special manner. The Desert Express offers a particularly comfortable traveling experience on its way through some of the most beautiful regions of Africa. An adventure that will not just fascinate railway lovers. Visitors coming to Namibia for the first time will find it difficult to escape its spell, especially if you're introduced to the country on a railway safari. This special train journey takes travellers to Namibia's many highlights, all under the guidance of German and English-speaking staff. A richly diverse tour through the many different parts of the country. Windhoek, capital of Namibia. The famous equestrian monument is a tribute to Germany's colonial past, the architectural traces of which can still be found throughout what used to be known as German Southwest Africa. While taking a tour of the city and going on a short shopping spree, travellers will get their first impressions of the country and its people. And above all, they will get to appreciate the real warmth of the Namibians. Windhoek's train station. And here's the Desert Express slowly rolling to a halt on platform 1. For the next few days, this exclusive chartered train will be their home on wheels. Straight away, the guests can abandon themselves to the friendly hands of the train staff. A quick look in the compartment, cozy, comfortable, with an ensuite shower, toilet and wash basin. In the evenings, the staff convert the compartment into a bedroom, so the guests can sleep comfortably through the Namibian nights. The onboard restaurant serves the first lunch of the journey. The mood is relaxed. It's a good moment to get to know your fellow travellers. For some, it will be the beginning of a long friendship. The train has long left the capital Windhoek and is travelling through one of Namibia's many spectacular landscapes. The Desert Express is the pride of Namibia's national railway, designed and built with great care in collaboration with German engineers. A unique adventure on rails through a unique country. A stop at Fish River Canyon, Africa's biggest canyon and the second largest in the world. A breathtaking natural wonder carved out of a plateau by the Fish River over millions of years. The journey continues along the edge of the Kalahari Desert. Here, the Desert Express really does justice to its name. The next station, Keetmanshoop. In the olden days, the town was an important railway junction. An ancient steam locomotive testifies to the station's former glory. From here, the guests make a trip to the famous Quiver Tree Forest. There are some 250 specimens in this particular forest. The strangely shaped trees are part of Namibia's many national treasures. Some are up to 300 years old and form perfect natural sculptures amongst the rocks. As the afternoon draws to a close, the guests relax in the lounge carriage. With plenty to read, a bit of conversation and a good glass of wine, the stresses and strains of normal life are quickly forgotten. African tranquility sets the rhythm here. The setting sun provides the perfect postcard backdrop as the Desert Express gently trundles its way to the next destination. A short stop at the village of Maltahur. The breakfast consists of German home cooking, accompanied by some traditional African singing. A meal to remember. The journey then continues by bus. An isolated gravel road takes the guests to the rugged rock massifs of the Namib-Naukluft National Park. The destination is a spectacularly situated lodge, the perfect oasis in the middle of a grandiose mountainous landscape. Right in front of the lodge lie majestic vistas and exotic wildlife. Next to the oryx antelopes, ground squirrels carefully survey their surroundings before burrowing for food. In the late afternoon, it's time to go on a safari in the vast wildlife preserve. Welcome to a different world. In the Namib-Naukluft Park, petrified sand dunes jut out of seemingly endless grassy plains. A fairy tale landscape. The interplay of light and color change every second, the essence of Africa. With an obligatory sundowner, an eventful day is brought to a perfect end. The giant ochre-colored dunes of the Namib, the oldest desert in the world. Formed over millions of years, the shifting dunes are constantly being reshaped by the wind. The early morning trek through this fascinating landscape is one of the highlights of the trip. Those who venture the steep climb up the tallest dune in the world will be rewarded with an unforgettable panorama. Below lies the Dead Flea, white salt flats famous for its skeletons of dead camelthorn trees, believed to be 900 years old. And for those not yet impressed, on request you can take an exclusive sightseeing flight over the Namib Park. From the air, Namibia's famous fairy circles are particularly impressive. Like an endless sea of sand, the Namib Desert stretches into the horizon, a natural spectacle of infinite forms and colors. As the sun moves across the sky, the colors and shadows change with it. A breathtaking experience. Arrival in Swakopmund, a lively small town on the Atlantic coast. Alongside this African's resort's holiday beaches, Swakopmund's German heritage is clearly evident, a real melting pot of cultures. A stroll through the town centre reveals elegant boutiques and smart souvenir shops, but the signs of Namibia's colonial past are never far away. Many of the historical buildings bear witness to the heyday of the German settlers here. A detour to Walvis Bay. Hundreds of flamingos flock to the lagoons, looking for food. A hypnotizing vision of elegance and grace. From the Atlantic coast, the journey continues on the oldest railway line in the country, towards the east, back into the interior to Damaraland. A stop at the Katora Primary School, a school also partly funded by donations from the train's guests. Many of the children who go to school here are AIDS orphans. A good education gives them a chance for a better future. The Spitzkopper, also known as the Matterhorn of Namibia because of its shape. The massive granite blocks and bizarre rock formations create a unique landscape. Bushman rock paintings, thousands of years old, are scattered among the outcrops. Back at the train, the day trippers are greeted with drinks and a snack, all part of the exclusive service to be expected on a trip with the Desert Express. Then the train resumes its journey, this time to the north. The grazing antelopes on the expansive grounds of the next lodge already hint at the exotic wildlife to come. The first-class accommodation leaves no desire unfulfilled. The guests will spend the next 2 nights here, a perfect jumping-off point for a thrilling safari in the Etosha National Park. This is Namibia's biggest wildlife preserve. The Etosha Pan is one of the most diverse wildlife regions of Africa. Throughout the year, most of the continent's big game animals can be observed here. The wildlife reserve is especially renowned for its extensive lion population. With more than 100 different types of mammals, the biodiversity here can be overwhelming. Hobby photographers are in heaven, and who knows, with some luck, maybe even a rare black rhinoceros will find its way in front of the lens. The variety of wildlife is at its most impressive at the national park's many waterholes. Thirst compels all the animals to gather here eventually. It's almost a guarantee for some unforgettable wildlife pictures. The last evening on the train, it's time to return to Windhoek. The staff once again pull out all the stops to offer the guests a fitting finish to their journey. A unique adventure comes to an end. But what remains is a fascination for the country that has brought these travelers so firmly under its spell. Namibia takes its leave with a particularly beautiful sunset, a true firework display of colors that can only be found in Africa.